Chapter 41. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the full moon, the cool night wind blew like a veil, rolling up a few yellow leaves. Manager Song and others were trembling in the cold wind, and then they suddenly came back to their senses from the shock. They hurried to the body of the fox demon, and after confirming that the beast was completely dead, they breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the young General Flag, their eyes were full of admiration and fear. It was really terrible. Is this a human? Several servants looked at the bull-sized piercing wound on the fox demon and couldn't help swallowing their saliva. Before, they saw that Gu Cheng looked too fair and didn't look like a martial arts master at all, and he was treated very well by his master. When chatting privately, some doubts and criticisms were inevitable, but after seeing the other party's great power tonight, they were completely convinced. Mrs. Song put on a coat and came here with the help of several maids. The beautiful woman recalled Gu Cheng's heroic figure just now, which was like a god of war. Her mood was surging, her face flushed, her legs were tightly clamped, and her eyes were almost tearing when she looked at the young man. However, Gu Cheng completely ignored the gazes of these passers-by. He walked up leisurely, searched the body of the fox demon with his divine mind, inserted one hand into the abdomen of the beast, and took out a meatball from it. Fox demon core. Gu Cheng nodded with satisfaction, turned to look at Shopkeeper Song, and said lightly. Shopkeeper Song, this fox demon is the flower thief. Now that the fox demon has been killed, can our previous transaction be ended in advance? This demon is the flower thief. The old man was startled at first, and then nodded quickly. He said that he would deliver the herbs that Gu Cheng needed to him within 2 days. At this time, Shopkeeper Song was extremely excited. The talent of this General Gu was even more outrageous than he had expected. If they could make friends with such a young genius, their Song family could prosper for at least 3 more generations. They must find ways to get closer to him. It's a pity that my daughters are already married, otherwise. Shopkeeper Song felt a little regretful. After seeing his wife's confused eyes, he had an idea. A bold idea flashed through his mind. Gu Cheng's killing of the fox demon was really a big deal. Several wealthy families living nearby immediately sent people to check it out. After seeing the body of the fox demon, their expressions changed drastically. When they knew the cause and effect of the matter, they were so shocked that they took a breath. Looking at Gu Cheng, the eyes were filled with shock from the heart. After learning that Gu Cheng had helped them avenge their daughters, the wealthy families whose families had women killed by the flower thieves were even more grateful to him, and gave him a generous reward to show their gratitude. Gu Cheng was not hypocritical. He just accepted it all and filled up his small treasury, just like what Xuan Yang said before. In the process of body training, 3 parts training and 7 parts eating. Even if Gu Cheng can Krypton Life training, there will definitely be places where he will have to spend money in the future. By the time he sent away all those who came to thank him, it was already noon the next day. Gu Cheng asked several captains of the Demon Suppression Division who came after hearing the news to transport the body of the fox demon back to the government office. He returned to his small courtyard alone. After working all night, it was time for him to rest. As soon as he walked into the house, a charming figure came up to him immediately. Why did you come back so late today? I'm starving. Su Nianxue stared at her owner with a pair of big amber eyes. Gu Cheng looked at the girl's cute and innocent appearance and couldn't help but smile knowingly. If this girl hadn't stayed at home to copy the secret book after eating and drinking every day, Gu Cheng sometimes suspected that he had picked up a cat. As soon as the owner came home after overtime, she meowed for cat food. Huh? What's that smell on you? Su Nianxue frowned slightly, took 2 steps forward, and sniffed Gu Cheng's clothes gently. Demon blood, or a fox demon? Did you run out to kill demons again? Well, it should be a dog. Gu Cheng added in his heart that this young lady's nose is more sensitive than a dog's. Then he organized his words. He briefly told the girl about how he had killed the fox demon who had attacked the Song mansion at night as a thief. After Su Nianxue heard the whole story, her face was filled with expression suddenly became serious, and he said solemnly, Young Master Gu, you should be more careful in the future. The fox demon clan rarely goes out alone, and they are cunning by nature and have a strong desire for revenge. If you kill this fox demon, its companions will definitely lie dormant in secret and wait for an opportunity to seek revenge on you. Oh, there is such a good thing. Gu Cheng was immediately refreshed when he heard this. He just happened to be in urgent need of demon cores. If a few more fox demons could come to die, it would naturally be the best, but from what Sun Yanxue meant, the fox demon clan seemed to be a bunch of old scoundrels. It seems a bit unrealistic to want them to be sent one by one like the gourd baby saving his grandfather. In that case, let me take the initiative this time. Gu Cheng looked at the panel record and saw that the sole afterimage of this fox demon happened to burst out this time, and he immediately had a plan in his mind. He hurried into his room and locked the door, completely ignoring Sun Yanxue's requesting to be fed sad expression. Gu Cheng lay on the bed, closed his eyes, and opened the system panel. He poured 20 years of life into the soul of the fox demon in one breath. In a trance, a big white fox appeared in his mind. There was not a single stray hair on the snow-white fur, and 3 big furry tails swung gently behind him, looking very rua. To be honest, this fox demon looked quite pleasing to the eye after the lifespan and demon core exploded. First year, you spent 10 years to awaken the 3-tailed fox. Demon, the 3-tailed fox demon was very jealous of you because you looked handsome, and he didn't say a word when facing your question. Fuck. Because it's a male fox, the beauty trap doesn't work, right? Gu Cheng's mouth twitched twice, and he felt annoyed with the big white fox again. What should I do? This fox demon is dead and only has a remnant soul left. There is no way to threaten it anymore. But how can I lure it? This guy was a flower thief before. You can't let me dress up as a woman and use the beauty trap, right? Just when Gu Cheng was a little overwhelmed by this dead fox, the record on the panel has made new progress. The second year, you took out the romantic picture album collected by Sun Yanxue and lent it to the fox demon. After reading it, the 3-tailed fox demon's eyes lit up and his heart was very happy, as if the door to a new world had been opened. So far, the 3-tailed fox demon regards you as his half-brother, and in the face of your questions, he will tell you everything he knows. Ah. This works too. Gu Cheng was confused. The pornographic book collected by Miss Su actually has such a wonderful use. Fourth year, under the careful teaching of the 3-tailed fox demon, you have a deeper understanding of the skills of seducing married women. Can we stop being minotaurs? Gu Cheng's face was dark, and he, a pure love warrior, was completely powerless to complain. 10th year, the 3-tailed fox demon taught you the secret art of the fox demon clan's formation, but because you're not a fox demon, and your spiritual cultivation is too low, you failed to learn it successfully. Gu Cheng. 17th year, after an in-depth conversation, the 3-tailed fox demon completely let down his guard and told you how he came here with his 2 sisters. You know the hiding place of the 2 sisters of the 3-tailed fox demon. So far, this remnant soul has no secrets for you. Remaining lifespan, 603 years. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is that all? Gu Cheng sat up from the bed with a dark face, feeling very dissatisfied with the benefits of this soul afterimage. This pitfall fox is really a pitfall. As for the skills of seducing married women, it's needless to say, he is a complete waste. With his appearance, is it necessary to take the initiative to seduce? He is lucky that he can resist being seduced. The formation secrets of the fox demon clan sounded good, but in the end he couldn't learn them at all. The only useful thing was the information about his 2 sisters. Alas, it seems that everything has 2 sides. Although killing demons can give more life, the soul afterimages that explode are usually useless. Although killing evil cultivators can give less life, the soul afterimages of evil cultivators are obviously more valuable. Learning is a profit. Even the most inconspicuous cooking skills can be put to good use. At least the dishes cooked with them are really delicious. Gu Cheng sighed quietly and began to carefully sort out the information he had gained from the fox demon's soul. Not long after, he extracted the key information. It turned out that this 3-tailed fox demon and his 2 sisters came from a well-known fox demon family in Yunzhou. This time, he came to Changle County because he was commissioned by a mysterious person to help arrange the defense formation and teach the secret art of painted skin to the 2 demon tribes in Black Wind Mountain. Oh. So, the pig demon master and Blood Fang's painted skin secret art were all taught by his 2 sisters. Gu Cheng suddenly realized, it makes sense. As a small border area, Changle County is very closed to information. Not only are the local people generally ignorant, even the demons on the mountain are also a bunch of country bumpkins who have never seen the world. For magic like the painted skin secret art, the pig demons and wolf demons probably have never heard of it before. So, this mysterious person who asked the fox demon to come for off-site assistance must be the remnant of the rebirth religion. Combined with Sun Yenshua's previous analysis, Gu Cheng immediately realized this. It's a pity that this three-tailed fox demon is just here to make up the numbers and doesn't know more details. Gu Cheng also couldn't tell from its soul afterimage what the cult members and demons were planning. But he was too lazy to think so much. No matter what conspiracy he had, just kill them all with one knife. There was no time to lose. While the two female foxes were still unaware, their precious brother was already dead. He had to leave as soon as possible, go to the hiding place of the fox demon, and reunite the three siblings. After figuring out the connection, Gu Cheng changed into a black dress and walked out of the room in a hurry. Sun Yanshua was standing at the door, and was slightly startled when she saw the young man was going on a long journey again. "Aren't you done with your work yet? You're going out again. Then what should I do with my food today?" Miss Su asked pitifully with a downcast face. After these days of feeding, the girl's mouth had been completely spoiled by her owner. "Sorry, I have something urgent to do, you just have to make do with it today." Gu Cheng apologized, and then suddenly thought of something. He took out an exquisite food box from the storage bag and handed it to Sun Yanshua. "This is my midnight snack last night. I haven't touched it yet. If you don't mind, use this to fill your stomach first. When I come back, I will make it up to you later." After saying that, Gu Cheng left in a hurry without waiting for the girl's reaction. Watching the young man walk away, Sun Yanshua withdrew her gaze from the back of her owner, shook her head gently, and sighed. Alas, what a busy man. Is the work of the Demon Suppression Division so busy? If the people of the Demon Suppression Division are as dedicated as he is, it is estimated that in a few years, the demons in the Great Yen territory should be killed, right? After secretly sighing, Sun Yanshua walked back to her room, put the food box on the table, and gently opened the lid. After seeing the dishes inside, she was slightly startled. Sea cucumber glutinous rice porridge, charcoal grilled kidneys, old hen stewed with oysters, wolfberry ginseng venison soup, all of them are tonic dishes. If ordinary people eat all of these things in one meal, they will probably have a nosebleed on the spot. He actually eats these for supper at night. Is it so nutritious? Sun Yanshua blinked her eyes, with a strange expression on her face, but thinking that warriors have different diets due to different cultivation methods, she was soon relieved. She had been hungry for a whole morning and was already starving. Seeing that this was the food fed by Gu Cheng, she subconsciously let down all her guard. She immediately picked up the chopsticks, and started to eat heartily. I don't know when it started. At the foot of the Black Wind Mountain, a small courtyard suddenly appeared. The area of this small courtyard is not large, but the interior decoration is very exquisite. It can be seen that it was designed by a master himself. There is a pavilion in the small courtyard. Two young and beautiful women sit opposite each other, quietly drinking tea and enjoying the scenery. One of the women is dressed in white, with a face like peach blossoms, a hot body, and a plump waist. A pair of charming peach blossom eyes is very charming, just like a little goblin who can seduce people's souls. The other woman is dressed in yellow, with skin as white as snow and beautiful as a flower. But sitting together with the woman in white, she is a little eclipsed in an instant. After a cup of tea, the woman in yellow put down her teacup and spoke first. "Sister, how long are we going to stay here? This broken place is so boring, there is not even a place to have fun. Be patient, sister, it won't take long." The woman in white looked up at her sister and comforted her softly. "The arrangement of that old thing is almost finished. When his plan is officially implemented, someone will come to notify us. Now we just need to wait patiently." When the so-called plan was mentioned, the woman in white couldn't help but sneered, and then said, "Hee, everyone says that my demon race is cruel by nature, insidious and cunning, and chooses people to devour, but in my opinion, if it really comes to the ability to harm people, they are the most proficient in it. Yes, even if our demon race fights internally, it is just a dispute between different races, not as crazy as their human race. The woman in yellow nodded in agreement, then, as if she suddenly thought of something, she turned her eyes to her sister. Big sister, I heard from my younger brother before that there is a female centurion named Lynn in the Demon Suppression Division branch in the county. She is beautiful and charming, and is not inferior to the saint in our family. When the time comes, when the old man's plan starts to be implemented, why don't we take advantage of the situation and take down the centurion Lynn, so that I can change my sister into a beautiful body? The woman in yellow suggested excitedly. It can be seen that she is very dissatisfied with her current body, which is inferior to her sister's. Humph, I advise you to be honest. The woman in white refused without hesitation, and then explained. You don't have to do this. When the old man's plan is completed, we can all enter the inheritance secret realm of the rebirth religion. With the help of the rare treasures in the secret realm, we will definitely be able to enter the innate realm within 3 years. As long as our fox demon clan grows a fourth tail, we can transform into a human form by ourselves. Why bother to use other people's skin to perform the secret art of painting skin? After hearing this, the woman in yellow curled her lips in disapproval, obviously not convinced by her sister's statement. In her opinion, the elder sister must be jealous and reluctant to let her younger sister become more beautiful than herself, so she found this excuse to perfunctory her. In addition, this matter itself sounds unreliable. That old thing can kill even his own people for his own selfish desires. If he really achieved his goal, would he really fulfill his initial promise afterwards? Thinking of this, the woman in yellow couldn't help but feel a little worried. Chapter 43. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as the yellow-clothed girl opened her red lips and was about to tell her sister about her worries, the defensive barrier outside suddenly reacted. The two girls immediately felt something and looked at the door of the courtyard at the same time. Did someone touch the barrier outside? The white-clothed girl frowned slightly, and a trace of doubt flashed in her eyes. You know, their secret base is extremely hidden, and there is a maze outside. It should be difficult for outsiders to find this place. It should be the younger brother who is back. That kid has been obsessed with women recently, and he probably forgot how to break the maze again. The yellow-clothed woman guessed so, then she raised her white hand lightly, pinched the magic formula lightly, and temporarily lifted the barrier outside. In a moment, the closed door of the courtyard was slowly pushed open. Under the gaze of these two fox demons, an elegant young man dressed as a scholar came in and walked quickly to the front, followed by two pig-headed, human-bodied monsters. It is not difficult to see that this elegant scholar is actually a pig monster in human skin. I thought who was coming. It turned out to be the second son of the pig monster king. The woman in white took a sip of tea and was not surprised by the appearance of the young scholar. After all, the other party learned the secret art of painting skin here a few months ago. Yes, your method of painting skin is quite sophisticated. The woman in yellow looked up and down at the elegant scholar and nodded approvingly. And I have to say that your pig monster's aesthetics is indeed better than that of the wolf monster. Thank you for the compliment, senior. The elegant scholar was recognized by the two big guys, and he couldn't help but straighten his chest, his face full of pride. Humph, those mixed-haired wild dogs are naturally stupid. How can they be compared with their pig demon clan? Okay, stop talking nonsense. What are you doing here? The woman in white shook the teacup in her hand lightly, her eyes indifferent. Is that old thing ready to take action? No, there is no news from there yet. The scholar shook his head and continued. I came here this time, entrusted by my father, to remind the two fox demon elders. You two have lived in this small courtyard for a long time. You may not know, before that, a demon catcher suddenly appeared in Changle County. He was extremely cruel and hateful. My most talented brother died at his hands. Not only that, not long ago, the most powerful son of the Wolf Demon King also fell victim to his murderous hands, causing the entire Wolf Demon clan to panic. The scholar paused for a moment, looked up at the two powerful fox demons, took a deep breath, and continued. Father has heard that your two younger brothers have been acting recklessly in the city recently. I think it is very dangerous to do so, and it is very easy to attract the attention of the demon catcher. In addition, our plan is coming to an end, so we should restrain ourselves and not ruin the big thing. Crack, the teacup in the yellow-clothed woman's hand was instantly crushed by her. What? Does your old pig also want to teach my brother how to do things? That with her angry shout, a surge of demonic energy suddenly surged up. Under this terrifying pressure, the two pig demons behind the elegant scholar instantly collapsed to the ground. Although he could still hold on with his peak chi and blood cultivation, his back was completely soaked with cold sweat. The elegant scholar was horrified. This female fox was obviously weaker than his father in cultivation, but how could her demonic power be so overbearing? Is this the great demon from the outside world who broke through the mortal realm? It is indeed so terrifying. Okay, sister, I have good intentions. The woman in white pulled her sister's sleeve, then looked at the scholar and explained softly. Don't worry, my brother has always been cautious in doing things, and he will definitely be fine. Our fox demon clan has a secret method to cover up the demonic energy, which is difficult to detect even by the divine thoughts of the spiritual cultivators. In addition, I also gave him a magic weapon for self-defense. No matter how strong the demon catcher is, he can protect himself. But the elegant scholar wanted to persuade him a few more times. Suddenly, a steady sound of footsteps came faintly from the gate of the yard. Everyone in the courtyard looked over and saw a handsome young man in black clothes stepping through the gate and walking into the courtyard. Just looking at his natural and leisurely appearance, it seemed as if he had returned to his own home. Little brother, looking at this handsome young man who seemed to have walked out of a painting, the girl in yellow was slightly startled. After sensing the familiar breath of the little brother from him, she immediately showed a happy expression on her face and said with a smile. Little brother. You have changed into a new outfit again, best skin. Gu Cheng ignored the silly fox and quickly scanned the whole place. He had learned from the remnant spirit of the fox demon that there was a barrier around this secret base, and this pitiful fox had forgotten how to break the formation. Gu Cheng was originally prepared to force his way in, but he never thought that someone would help him open the door one step ahead. What a good comrade, don't worry, I will give you a quick death later. Gu Cheng looked at the elegant scholar, nodded slightly, and showed a kind smile on his face. Third Master. Seeing this, the elegant scholar hurriedly bowed to the young man, and even mistook Gu Cheng for a fox demon. At the same time, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the third young master is not exposed, their plan can reduce many variables. Little brother, where did you find this skin? The girl in yellow looked up and down at her brother, her eyes flashing with an inexplicable look. The other party's cold aura, like a sharp sword, instantly pierced the softest part of her heart, making her a little unable to control herself on the spot. Although fox demons usually dress like ordinary people, but except for those truly powerful demons, most fox demons are still a bunch of beasts in essence, with no ethics and morals at all, and only follow their own reproductive instincts. Just when the second sister of the fox demon was indulging in male beauty, her heart was rippling, and she couldn't help herself. An irrepressible roar of anger came from her side. Who are you? What did you do to my brother? The girl in white stood up suddenly. The originally charming peach blossom eyes instantly turned into scarlet demon pupils, exuding a chilling murderous intent. The pig demons and fox demons present suddenly changed color, and looked at the handsome young man in unison, with shock and anger in their eyes. Hee, finally someone has eyes, otherwise, I would have begun to suspect that you fox demons are all a bunch of idiots who are as stupid as pig demons. Gu Cheng chuckled and shook his head, reaching out his hand. The blood in his palms suddenly rose, condensing into a slender blood-red blade. The sharp blade flashed with a cold light, the scarlet and evil blood-killing aura, like a venomous snake, wrapped around the long sword, exuding a vicious aura that is more terrifying than the demons. Are you asking where your brother is? Don't worry, you will be reunited soon. Gu Cheng's eyes were filled with scarlet evil light. Waving the blood knife in his hand, he used all his strength to activate the blood shadow knife technique that had reached its peak, and slashed out several sharp blood-colored slashes in succession. Swish, 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 the scarlet blood-colored slashes tore through the air, whistling in with a compelling momentum. He slashed fiercely at the faces of the two fox demons. After all, as a family, the most important thing is to be together. Chapter 44. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a flash of lightning, the bloody evil slash came like a violent storm, easily passing through the bodies of the two women, but not a drop of blood was seen. The figures of the two women blurred for a while and disappeared without a trace. Obviously, these were just two illusions used to confuse the enemy. Then the bloody evil slash continued to move, slashing fiercely on the pillars of the pavilion, instantly smashing the exquisite pavilion into pieces. Boom, the terrifying bloody evil power burst out, and the sharp sword energy spread everywhere. The elegant scholar sensed the danger in advance and hurriedly flew to dodge, but the two younger brothers behind him who were slightly weaker were not so lucky. After being affected by the scattered bloody evil sword energy, blood spurted out on the spot and fell to the ground. After struggling for a few times, he died directly. Just by relying on the aftermath of the slash, two half-step blood, thick-skinned pig monsters were killed. This sword technique that was created by Gu Cheng showed its ferocious fangs in front of the world for the first time. What kind of destructive power is this? That the elegant scholar hid aside in a panic, looking at the pavilion that was chopped up by a knife with lingering fear, and suddenly felt his scalp numb. The most unfortunate thing in the world is to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and meet the wrong person. I was clearly here to warn these two female foxes. How come the murderer who killed their brother came to kill them just after the message was conveyed? Such amazing efficiency. Among the monsters on the Black Wind Mountain, is there a traitor who leaked the news? So, my useless brother has been killed by you? You dare to carry his demon core with you, you deserve to die. The two women, with fluttering sleeves, landed lightly like fairies, with terrifying murderous intent flashing in their scarlet demon eyes. Although I don't know how you found this place, you dare to come here alone. You are simply courting death. Sister. Stop talking nonsense with him, kill this kid quickly and avenge me. The yellow-clothed woman raised her jade hand and drew out a Taoist long sword. The sharp sword body was cold and intimidating, and it was obvious that it was not an ordinary product. Then her figure flashed like a ghost, and 4 illusions appeared in an instant. 5 yellow-clothed women held 3-foot green peaks and danced with sword flowers together, besieging like 5 whirlwinds. Even if you use your divine mind to perceive, it is difficult to distinguish which is true and which is false. The woman in white followed closely behind him and took out a talisman from her waist. With a pinch of her white fingers, the runes on the talisman ignited instantly, the flames burned fiercely, and several fireballs as big as basketballs, carrying the scorching high temperature, smashed towards Gu Cheng like meteors. Humph. Trivial tricks. Gu Cheng couldn't help but sneer when he saw the two female foxes using their own methods. The blood knife in his hand trembled slightly. Under the influence of this blood-controlling secret technique of the blood soldier, the bodies of the two pig monsters that were killed by the aftermath of the slash were instantly drained of blood. The strands of demon blood flowed like a trickle, blending into the blade of the blood knife and turning into its nutrients. In an instant, a more brutal and violent blood evil force gushed out of Gu Cheng's body. He held the handle of the blood knife tightly and rushed straight up to fight with the two women. For a moment, bloody shadows whistled. Sword energy was everywhere. Sword light was overflowing. Flames were rising. The aftermath of the three people's battle alone was like a typhoon passing through, destroying most of the buildings in the small courtyard. The flower beds and green plants in the courtyard were the first to be hit, and were crushed into debris. However, in just half an incense stick of time, the portable cave that the fox demon brought from Yunzhou was completely scrapped. The two sides were fighting fiercely, and it was difficult to tell the winner, if you only look at the fighting methods they each used. It is really hard to imagine that this is a general flag of the Demon Suppression Division killing a fox demon. Instead, it seems like two young and beautiful female Taoists are using all their skills to try to suppress a tyrannical evil demon. Who is the demon here? The elegant scholar hid behind the ruins of a building, looking at the battlefield not far away, his body trembling involuntarily. On Black Wind Mountain, his peak chi and blood cultivation was considered a top-ranked master. However, now, he didn't even have the qualifications to intervene in this battle. The strength of these two fox demon elders is really terrifying. Even if the two demon kings of Black Wind Mountain join forces, I'm afraid they can only be as strong as this, right? that the elegant scholar stared at the two beautiful and graceful figures, thinking secretly in his heart, as far as he knew, the Fox Demon clan was an outlier among all the demons. Although they did not have a strong body, they did not have powerful innate magical powers. But he can drive magic tools and use spells like the human cultivators. Because of this, Fox demons often have strange abilities and many trump cards, making them extremely difficult to deal with. Although the young man using the blood knife was extremely cruel and looked more evil than a demon, his means of fighting were a little simpler. Now it's still 2 against 1, and the advantage is mine. As long as he continues to delay, that kid will never be able to defeat the 2 Fox demon predecessors. I will win. The elegant scholar comforted himself in his heart, but his slightly trembling hands showed that he had no confidence in his heart. Swish, a bloody slash tore through the air, slashing several flying fireballs in the air. Under the illumination of the scorching fire, the scarlet evil light in Gu Cheng's eyes became more and more intense. Ignoring the yellow-clothed girl who was fighting with him, he instead clenched the blood knife and rushed straight to the latter's sister. The wind-chasing step, which had reached its peak, was performed with all its strength. Its speed was as fast as an arrow piercing the air, leaving a long bloody afterimage. However, in terms of body movement speed alone, these 2 Fox demons were far superior to the young man. Don't even think about escaping. The girl in yellow saw that the opponent's door was wide open, and immediately killed him. The 3-foot green peak pierced the air like a poisonous snake out of a hole, making a sharp and piercing explosion. The sharp sword light fell on the young man like a storm. In an instant, his black clothes were chopped into tattered beggar clothes, revealing a strong body. However, Gu Cheng's body was as hard as a rock, as if it was made of refined steel. The sharp sword energy that could break gold and jade chopped on his cold white skin, leaving at most a few shallow blood marks, and it healed quickly at a speed visible to the naked eye. What an exaggerated defense! Is this guy a transformed demon? The yellow-clothed girl was horrified. Then she realized that in addition to the powerful swordsmanship, the opponent was also a master who practiced the body-refining technique. She immediately warned loudly. Sister, be careful. This guy is a body-refining cultivator. Don't let him get close to you. Body-refining cultivator. The white-clothed girl's heart sank, and she quickly flew to dodge. For Fox demons who are good at all kinds of fancy tricks, body-refining cultivators are undoubtedly the most difficult enemies. Facing the strong bodies of those beasts like demons, ordinary means of attack are completely ineffective. In this case, we can only use this trump card. The white-clothed girl's pretty face flashed a hint of coldness, and she took out a talisman from the storage bag, pinched the magic formula. The talisman immediately flashed a blue lightning, and condensed into a majestic thunder tiger in mid-air. The thunder tiger raised its head and roared, making a deafening roar. Then it fell with the force of thunder and pounced fiercely on the young man holding the blood knife. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What kind of magic is this? The elegant scholar who was watching the battle was horrified and his breath was choked. Even though they were far apart, he still felt an extremely terrifying aura of destruction from the thunder tiger in the air. With such a terrifying power, even his father, who was famous for his defense, would not dare to take it easily, right? This familiar feeling is. Gu Cheng looked up and stared at the thunder tiger that fell with a bang, and a strange color flashed in his eyes. He did not dodge, but jumped high and rushed straight towards the thunder tiger in the air, while silently urging the wind and thunder sword art in his heart. On the slender blade of the natal blood soldier, several blood-colored thunders were wrapped around it like a spirit snake, exuding the same destructive aura as that of the thunder tiger. Then, he suddenly swung a knife and slashed at the thunder tiger fiercely. Crackling, the azure and blood-colored thunder complemented each other and exploded. The seemingly powerful and unrivaled thunder tiger was easily killed by Gu Cheng with one sword. What was even more incredible was that, the thunder and lightning that escaped from the thunder tiger did not dissipate. Instead, it was absorbed by the blood-colored thunder on the blood knife like a whale absorbing water, and transformed into the latter's energy. Give it back to you. Gu Cheng sneered and looked at the white-clothed girl who had already been frightened. Gathering all the strength in his body, he slashed out with another sword. Thunder counterattack. Shwa! A thunderous slash that shook the world. with a power that exceeded the limit of wind and thunder sword art, slashed down like a mountain crushing an egg. Not good. The white-clothed girl's face changed drastically, and she hurriedly sacrificed several defensive magic weapons. These magic weapons quickly turned into colorful barriers, stretching in front of her, but how could this hasty defense be a match for this magnificent power? Boom! The blood-colored lightning exploded. Those defensive barriers only blocked for a few breaths before being pierced through one after another like a broken bamboo. The thunderbolt, which had lost most of its power, slashed fiercely on the chest of the girl in white. The latter immediately spurted blood, and her delicate body flew backwards like a broken sack. In midair, her skin was overwhelmed and completely cracked, revealing her demon body hidden under the human skin. Bang! A 5-meter-long white-haired fox with 3 tails fell heavily to the ground. Although she was not killed on the spot, she had little strength to fight again. Ahem, is this thunder method? The white-haired fox demon coughed up a mouthful of blood, and the look he gave the young man gradually changed from fear to resentment, and he said in a timid manner. So you are the heir of the Su family in Yunzhou? What? Do you, the Su family, also want to get involved in the affairs of the rebirth sect? Gu Cheng was too lazy to bother with this beast. Holding the blood knife, he rushed up with murderous intent. You! The white-haired fox demon's breath was choked, and he struggled to get up and run away. However, a black official boot stepped heavily on its back. Under the amazing force, the fox demon's raised body suddenly fell down. Even the surrounding ground was smashed with radial cracks. The fox demon clan was not good at strength, and now they were seriously injured. When facing Gu Cheng's amazing power comparable to the great accomplishment of body refining, he was easily suppressed. Mercy! Mercy! Seeing the young man raise the blood knife in his hand high, the white-haired fox demon was immediately frightened and begged for mercy in a soft and charming female voice. My lord, you have unparalleled magical power. I voluntarily take the slave seal and will be a slave from now on forever. Puff! The flesh was cut and the bones were broken, and the demon blood splashed. The huge fox demon head was chopped off by Gu Cheng. The scarlet demon pupils were round, full of fear and pleading. Obviously, the beast was not in a very good mood before his death. Kill the intermediate fox demon in the broken ordinary realm, and obtain lifespan, 351 years. Slave seal. Humph, what a useless thing. Gu Cheng snorted disdainfully. For him, only dead demons are good demons. Big sister. The yellow-clothed girl watched her sister's head being chopped off by a knife, and her mind went blank. The talents of the sisters were not the best in the family, but they could be considered above average. Otherwise, they would not have been entrusted with important tasks by the family elders and come here to assist the remnant of the rebirth sect in their plans. Logically speaking, with their strength, they should have been able to walk sideways in this remote and poor place. How come in the blink of an eye, her elder sister was chopped like a pig? Could he really be the heir of the Su family? But the Su family in Yunzhou has always taken it as their duty to slay demons and eliminate evil. How could such a descendant who looked more devilish than demons suddenly appear? Just when the girl in yellow was doubting the fox's life, Gu Cheng's eyes suddenly turned to this side. After killing a fox demon, the fierce aura on his body was greatly strengthened, and the blood color in his eyes became more and more intense. The blood-colored long sword in his hand was sharp and cold, like the fangs of a blood demon, exuding a frightening fierce aura. Seeing this evil star looking at him, the girl in yellow was suddenly struck by lightning, and the long sword in her hand fell to the ground with a clang. She was so scared that she couldn't even hold the weapon steadily. But at this critical moment of life and death, she had no time to worry about so much. Immediately, she used her innate magical powers, and her body turned into several phantoms, fleeing in all directions. Under the confusion of these true and false illusions, ordinary people really can't stop her real body from escaping. Is the real talent of your fox demon clan to escape? Gu Cheng snorted coldly, looking at the several figures fleeing madly. He gently raised the blood knife in his hand, and his mind moved. The demon blood on the fox demon corpse beside him instantly turned into strands of blood floating up. It merged into the blood soldier of his life again and became its nourishment. Gu Cheng slightly concentrated his mind and locked all the fleeing figures with his mind, the 36 major orifices in his body roared like a blue dragon, and instantly burst out surging blood and chi, blending with the fox demon blood on the blade, greedy wolf blood blade. Gu Cheng's eyes were full of blood, and he slashed several bloody slashes in the air towards all the fleeing figures. What was different from before was, this time, a ferocious wolf-head phantom also vaguely appeared on the bloody slash. Under the entanglement of scarlet evil spirit, it added a bit of ferocity and agility. Naive. Do you think you can hurt me like this? That the girl in yellow heard the sound of breaking air from behind her and snorted disdainfully. With a flexible change of direction, she easily avoided the bloody slash that was chasing her, although she was not as good at using various talismans as her elder sister, but her skills were particularly agile, and her natural magical powers made her even more powerful. Although the boy's swordsmanship was unparalleled and domineering, he was straightforward and had no skills at all, so it was very easy to dodge. As long as you can run out of his attack range, you will definitely escape. When I return to the family, I will report this to the ancestor of the family. The revenge between my elder sister and my younger brother must be paid with blood, that the girl in yellow swore secretly, and cruelty surged in her heart. However, just when she thought she had escaped, the bloody slash that she avoided, as if it had life, suddenly changed direction in mid-air and slashed at her again. What was even more terrifying was, after breaking the illusion, the slashes that were slashing at the illusion also turned around and roared towards her, the real body. From a distance, it seemed as if a group of bloodthirsty and greedy hungry wolves were chasing a poor prey and fighting to the death. What kind of magic is this? Why did his slash turn around after flying out? That the girl in yellow was shocked and hurriedly flew to avoid it, but no matter how she turned and moved, no matter how agile she was, under the relentless pursuit of the greedy wolf blood blade, she was finally defeated. Puff. A bloody slash slashed her back fiercely, leaving a huge wound deep enough to see the bone. The girl in yellow screamed in response, and her dodging action was a little slow, following closely, the second, the third. After all the blood blades of the greedy wolf hit the target, the charming figure in yellow had long disappeared. In its place, there was a fox demon corpse that had been chopped into pieces and was difficult to recognize. The red demon blood and damaged internal organs flowed all over the ground, making the land a mess, emitting a pungent fishy smell. At this point, the family of the 3 fox demon siblings was really complete. Chapter 46. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the fox demon corpse that was chopped into pieces, the elegant scholar stood there blankly, his body shaking like a sieve. He racked his brains but couldn't figure it out. Why did these 2 fox demon predecessors, whose strength was comparable to the Black Wind Mountain Demon King, suddenly suffer such a miserable defeat? Their deaths were even more miserable than each other. Look at the evil spirit contained in his slash just now, and the familiar way of chasing. Hiss, isn't that the signature ability of Blood Claw? Could it be that he swallowed the demon core of Blood Claw and learned the innate magical power of Blood Claw? But with the weak body of the human race, how could it be digested so quickly? The elegant scholar's pig brain was overloaded for a while, and even his spirit was frightened to a point of abnormality. When Gu Cheng looked over here, he had no intention of running away. He stood straight in place and smiled bitterly. Are you a human or a monster? In response, he was slashed with blood. Puff. The monster's blood splashed everywhere. The body cut in 2 fell to both sides, then it slowly revealed its true form, turning into 2 fat pig monster corpses, just like the fat pigs slaughtered in the village during the New Year. This way of death is exactly the same as his brother. Kill the peak pig monster in the chi and blood realm, and gain lifespan, 233 years, after everything was settled. Gu Cheng waved his hand to disperse the blood knife in his hand, and the fierce and violent aura on his body disappeared. He took off his beggar's clothes and took out a new set of clothes from the storage bag to put on. On his cold face, a rare trace of fatigue was revealed. During this period of time, Gu Cheng also killed many demons, but these 2 fox demons were the most different and the most difficult to deal with. This pair of sisters didn't look like demons at all. Instead, they looked more like human cultivators with a lot of fancy abilities. If the fox demon in white hadn't been tricked by the thunder spell, if Gu Cheng wanted to win in the end, he would have to spend more time. But the spell she used was really strange. Why is the meaning of wind and thunder on it so similar to the wind and thunder sword art? Ever since he had mastered the wind and thunder sword art to the extreme realm, Gu Cheng vaguely felt that this sword technique was more of a spell than a martial art. This time, the fox demon further confirmed this point. Thunder magic. Su family. Looking at the reaction of the fox demon at that time, could it be that the fox demon family behind them has a grudge against Su Nianshue's family? Gu Cheng pondered for a moment and decided to go back to Miss Su for advice. After killing the monster, touching the corpse is the key. Gu Cheng cleaned the battlefield carefully. He dug out a demon core from each of the two fox demons and seized their storage bags. The capacity of these two storage magic tools is not large, even less than 1/5 of the one Su Nianshue gave casually, but there are really a lot of things in them. In addition to some messy sundries, the most valuable thing inside is the talisman left by the white-clothed fox demon, and various elixirs for healing and recovery. What's more surprising is, Gu Cheng also found 2 nebula flowers in the storage bag of the yellow-clothed fox demon. It seems that this female fox is really not very smart. In addition, he also seized the magic sword of the yellow fox demon. This magic sword is slender and elegant, and the sword body is like a pool of autumn water, shining with a bright luster. It is definitely not an ordinary product at first glance. Gu Cheng injected his divine thoughts into it, and the sharp sword light immediately condensed on the blade, ready to go, which attracted the young man's amazement. As expected of a demon from the interior of Yunzhou, there are so many good things on it. On the other hand, that country pig didn't even explode a demon core. It's so useless. Gu Cheng looked disgusted, and his desire to leave Changle County became stronger. Then, he put all the spoils into his storage bag and hurriedly left the crime scene. A noisy autumn wind blew past, the corpses on the ground, the blood flowing wantonly, and the building ruins that were ignited by the fireball and raised billowing smoke. All of them showed that a fierce battle had taken place here. About an hour later, a team of people followed the guidance of the thick smoke and came here. Carefully, the leader was wearing a silver-white official uniform, tall and cold. It was Lin Qinyan. Because the wolf demons have stopped making trouble recently, the patrol team led by Lin Baihu also directly pushed the scope of activities to the vicinity of Black Wind Mountain. However, she never expected, there is actually such a courtyard hidden at the foot of the Black Wind Mountain. Lin Qinyan led several subordinates, crossed the collapsed courtyard wall and walked into the courtyard. As soon as they entered, they immediately saw the bodies of the demons who died in extremely miserable conditions. Is this a fox demon? Looking at the size of these 2 fox demons, their cultivation is definitely more than just the ordinary mortal realm. Except for the demon kings of the 2 demon clans, how could there be such a powerful demon on this Black Wind Mountain? Several lieutenants of the Demon Suppression Division were shocked, but when they thought that the 2 fox demons were completely dead, they couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. I say, this won't be done by the monster catcher last time, right? The lieutenant of the Demon Suppression Division asked in a low voice. Hearing this, the other companions were slightly startled. Looking at the miserable deaths of the 2 fox demons, they swallowed silently and nodded in unison. Those who can follow Lin Qinyan to go out to subdue demons are all elites with outstanding strength and courage in the government. But after feeling the remaining bloody knife aura on the fox demon's body, these elites still felt a kind of fear from the bottom of their hearts. The residual power is still so terrible, it can be seen how terrifying the knife skills of the other party are. It's only been a few days since I last saw that mysterious demon catcher. How come he feels more brutal and violent? That the 2 female adjutants looked at each other, their eyes full of doubts and fear. Before that, they were entrusted by their superiors to investigate the intelligence of the demon catcher, but in the end they did not find any useful information. Chen Yuanwei, the only one who had contact with the other party, also kept silent about it and refused to reveal any information, as if he was very secretive about the identity of this person. Now it seems, could this benefactor who helped Lin Baihu avenge his father's murder be a master of the demon sect who turned from evil to good? To atone for the sins he committed in the demon sect in the first half of his life, so he chose to redeem himself by killing demons in this way. Lin Qinyan frowned and stared at the corpses of the 2 fox demons. Her beautiful face was covered with frost and was as calm as water. After a moment of silence, she ordered her subordinates in a serious tone. Send the heads of the 2 fox demons back and report to the master of the 1,000 households. Yes, the lieutenants of the Demon Suppression Department responded in unison and took action quickly. They put the two fox demon heads on the accompanying cart and left in a mighty manner. After the team walked away and completely disappeared from sight, two mysterious men in black robes flashed out from the bushes in the nearby woods. They looked around and first looked in the direction where Lin Qinyan and others left, then he stared at the ruined stronghold. His dark eyes were filled with shock and confusion. The two were entrusted by the head of the family to come and inform the two fox demons that their brother had been killed by the Demon Suppression Division, unexpectedly, as soon as they arrived here. They saw with their own eyes that the people from the Demon Suppression Division dragged the heads of the two fox demons away. Now it's good, there's no need to send a message. The three siblings reunited directly down there. Was that Captain Lin the leader of the team just now? She actually killed the two fox demons. Damn it. I told the master a long time ago that Lin Qinyan is a disaster. She is not like that old man Zhao Qianhu who knows how to protect herself. Keeping her will definitely cause trouble. There is no way, hasn't the second young master always admired her? And the master also said that there is something strange about that woman. Even he can't see through her depth. If he acts rashly, it will alert the enemy. What should we do now? The two fox demons are dead. Who will maintain the formation at that time? Oh, hurry back and report truthfully. The plan has reached the most critical moment. We must not delay the master's important matter, that the two men in black whispered to each other. Then, their figures flashed and disappeared from the spot like ghosts, as if they had never appeared. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Confucius once said, "If I hear the truth in the morning, I can die in the evening." The original meaning is, I find out the way to your house in the morning, and I will go there and kill you in the evening. However, Gu Cheng's action this time was more efficient than Confucius. He set out at noon, wiped out the fox den in one pot, and the sun had not yet set when he returned. Stepping into his own courtyard, Gu Cheng looked at this particularly quiet courtyard and frowned slightly. In normal times, shouldn't Miss Su have come out to greet him and ask for feeding from him? The owner? Why is it so quiet today? Gu Cheng was puzzled. Seeing that the door of Sun Yenshua's room was open, he stepped forward and looked inside. At this time, Miss Su was lying lazily on the bed, with a listless look and a pale face, like a delicate flower that had lost its moisture. Hearing the movement from the door, Sun Yenshua looked up and saw Gu Cheng looking at her in surprise. A trace of shame and anger flashed across her pretty face, but then she pretended to be calm and greeted softly. "Hey, you're back. What are you eating tonight?" "Don't worry about what to eat, what's wrong with you?" Gu Cheng frowned even deeper when he heard the weak voice of the girl, and hurriedly walked from the door to the bed. As the distance got closer, Gu Cheng keenly discovered that although Sun Yenshua was listless, the style between her eyebrows was surprisingly charming. A pair of amber eyes were watery, like a female cat in spring, exuding a charming breath, which made people's hearts ripple. "It's okay, it's just that the internal injury has recurred. It will be fine after 2 days of rest." Sun Yenshua lowered her eyes and explained softly, but the sideways face and the erratic eyes all revealed that she was not sincere. Gu Cheng would not believe the other party's lies. He turned around and looked around in the wing room. He soon noticed the exquisite food box on the table and the midnight snack that was mostly eaten. Gu Cheng's eyes suddenly became sharp. He had been busy sending the fox demon brother and sister to reunite, and many trivial matters were unconsciously ignored by him. After a careful review, combined with Miss Su's weird look, swish, Gu Cheng's mind was like a flash of thunder, and he understood something instantly. What if Mrs. Salm was lustful and secretly added some seasoning to his midnight snack? Then Miss Su was innocently caught in the crossfire. Isn't it because she looked so weak as if she was dehydrated? Gu Cheng quickly glanced at the girl's white and delicate fingers, and then shifted his gaze in an instant. Damn, I really hope that I can understand the secrets of martial arts in seconds next time. Gu Cheng was embarrassed, but his face did not show any abnormality. He was silent for a moment, and took out a few talismans from the storage bag as if nothing had happened and handed them to the girl. "Miss Su, do you know the origin of these talismans?" "Talisman?" Sun Yenshua also tacitly turned the page on this dark history and took it naturally. After taking a closer look, she couldn't help but frown. This smell of fox, was it seized from the fox demon? Sun Yanxue raised her head and looked at Gu Cheng in surprise. It's been less than a day, and you have killed the companion of the flower thief. Gu Cheng didn't answer, but silently took out 3 fox demon cores and showed them to the other party. Sun Yanxue looked closely, and the expression on her face suddenly became extremely wonderful. During the time she spent with Gu Cheng, the girl's cognition has been constantly refreshed, sometimes she even has some doubts. In addition to giving birth to children, what else can't this man do? Young Master Gu, you really should be a demon catcher. With your terrible efficiency, it is estimated that within 3 years, you will be able to wear the silver mask. After sighing softly, Sun Yanxue continued to look at the talisman in her hand. After a careful observation, she frowned and asked. Are the 3 fox demons you killed completely white, without a single stray hair on their bodies? Yes. Gu Cheng nodded slightly. Sure enough. Sun Yanxue stroked the talisman in her hand, and her pale face suddenly became gloomy. These 3 fox demons all come from a little-known fox demon family in Yunzhou. Because their family members all have snow-white fur, they use the word, Bai, as their family name. The fox demon Bai family is also the most famous in the 12 counties of Yunzhou. It is a well-known demon clan force. They are vindictive and extremely protective of their own shortcomings. You killed 3 young people from the Bai family this time. I am afraid that you have already made a mortal enemy with them. Sun Yanxue said seriously, but then suddenly changed the subject and smiled. But you don't have to worry. They can't protect themselves now and have no time to trouble you. Oh. Why is that? Gu Cheng was puzzled. Because among the foxes of the Bai family, there is a strange thief. Sun Yanxue's eyes flashed with a strangeness, and she explained softly. She relied on her unique talent and magical powers to commit crimes everywhere in Yunzhou. I don't know how many precious skills and treasures she stole, even the sutra library of my Su family could not escape her claws. Later, the truth was revealed, and the fox demon Bai family naturally became the target of public criticism and was besieged by major forces. If those foxes weren't so cunning, they would have been wiped out long ago. So that's it. Gu Cheng nodded in understanding. No wonder the fox demon's thunder spell is so similar to the wind and thunder sword art. It turns out that it was stolen from the Su family. Has this white fox thief been caught? Of course not. The girl shook her head helplessly. If it was so easy to catch, she wouldn't have been so arrogant for so long. By the way, I heard that she appeared in Tianshui County recently and stole something important from the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division in Tianshui City. Tianshui County. Demon Suppression Division Headquarters. Gu Cheng pondered for a moment, and suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. Could it be that, the Demon Suppression Division Headquarters suddenly went crazy and carried out a large-scale purge in Tianshui County before? Could it be because of this? Gu Cheng, who had eaten a big melon, expressed satisfaction. In short, the fox demon Bai family is not a threat for the time being. However, Gu Cheng still recorded this nest of foxes in his little notebook. The white fox thief stole so many good things. The fox demon Bai family must be rich. In the future, when my magical power is great, I will wipe out the fox demon Bai family. I can get both lifespan and demon core. And I can also enrich my foundation. Kill 3 birds with 1 stone, isn't it wonderful? As compensation for being accidentally cheated by myself, Gu Cheng specially I cooked a large table of delicious food for Sun Yanxue, which gave her a lot of nutrition. After finishing the chores at home, Gu Cheng returned to his room, closed the door, lay on the bed, and opened the panel with concentration. Remaining lifespan, 1,597 years, after a day of killing. Gu Cheng's lifespan returned to 4 digits again, and reached a new high. In the fierce battle with the pair of fox sisters, Gu Cheng deeply experienced the arrogance of this body-refining cultivator. No matter what fancy tricks you have, I will just work hard to create miracles, just rush in and it's done. This simple and rough fighting method is very much in line with Gu Cheng's appetite. It also makes him look forward to the results of the next Krypton Life training. I wonder how far I can break through the 2nd volume of Blood Sword Sutra after absorbing these 3 fox demon cores. Gu Cheng pondered for a moment, took out the smallest demon core among the three, and swallowed it into his stomach. With the indescribable taste, it instantly exploded in his mouth. The remaining lifespan recorded on Gu Cheng's panel began to decrease rapidly again. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Year 1, you start to refine the Fox Demon's demon core. With the experience of successfully refining the Blood Claw demon core last time, you are as steady as an old dog, taking every step carefully, and never rushing for quick success. Year 98, over time, you completely refine and analyze the Fox Demon's demon core. You have some understanding of the Fox Demon's secret method, and at the same time, you completely absorb the energy contained in the demon core, transform it into your own blood essence, and inject it into your lifeblood soldiers. The next step is to reverse the practice of the Blood Sword Sutra. With the experience of the last success, except for the slow progress, everything went smoothly. Seeing this, Gu Cheng couldn't help but feel a little relieved, feeling that the demon core in his stomach had been completely transformed into energy. He immediately swallowed the second one. This demon core is in the middle stage of the broken ordinary realm, a full circle larger than the previous one, like the size of a ping pong ball. The demon power it contains is also pure, although not as violent as the Blood Claw Wolf Demon. It is full of evil. Gu Cheng wanted to continue to do the same thing and take it slowly. As a result, a small accident happened. Year 138. Your spirit is infected by the Fox Demon and falls into a fantasy. You seem to be in the clouds, surrounded by countless beauties wearing gauze and extremely charming. In this fairy-like ultimate enjoyment, you follow your inner desires and completely lose yourself in endless bliss. Year 153. You are so happy in the fantasy that you don't want to leave. Year 177. Your body is getting thinner and thinner. Damn. Gu Cheng's eyes suddenly went dark. The last time the demon core of the Blood Claw was out of control, it turned into a martial madman. This time, the demon core of the Fox Demon was out of control, so you opened the silver handkerchief in your dream, right? You use this to test the cadres? Well, think about it carefully. The latter does not seem to be impossible. Gu Cheng looked at the rapidly refreshing panel record, and suddenly such a strange idea flashed through his mind, but then he extinguished it in an instant. This time, the silver handkerchief illusion is obviously more difficult than the blood evil pollution last time. However, under the endless lifespan, all the problems that ordinary people can't solve will completely disappear with the passage of time. Chapter 343. After a long time, you finally defeated the desire deep in your heart and woke up from the illusion. You washed away the lead and your mind was greatly improved. Inspired by this demon core, your Qingxin Baodian broke through the limit and comprehended the ultimate meaning of martial arts. You summarized and named this mystery, Charming Face. Charming Face, your appearance is as charming as a fox demon, which can easily win the favor of others, and you have a strong resistance to charm. Oh. Did the Qingxin Baodian also break through to the extreme realm? Gu Cheng was a little surprised. In this silver handkerchief illusion, he spent nearly 200 years of his life. Being able to break through the limit of this entry-level soul-refining technique is more or less a consolation prize. At the same time, as Gu Cheng's mind is further strengthened, the speed of refining the demon core has also increased significantly. With the resistance of the Charming Face, this third demon core naturally landed smoothly. Without any moths. It took less than 100 years for all of them to be refined and absorbed by Gu Cheng. Not only did it bring a lot of martial arts insights about concealment and body skills, but it also provided extremely pure energy for the reverse training of the Blood Sword Sutra. Year 488. After absorbing the energy of the demon core and the double strengthening of the blood soldier of your life, your blood demon body has reached a new level again. Your muscles and skin are like refined steel, and even the sharp blade of the blood soldier of your life can hardly hurt you. You keenly discovered that the Fox Demon Core and the Blood Sword Sutra are not compatible. If you want to go to the next level, you still need a lot of elixirs to assist. Breaking the ordinary Blood Sword Sutra, great accomplishment. Remaining lifespan, 1,109 years. Gu Cheng slowly sat up from the bed and took off his shirt. He showed a body of muscles that were not exaggerated but almost perfect. Although it looked quite pleasing to the eye, this body was inexplicably full of dangerous aura, like a sleeping demon. Every breath exuded a breathtaking sense of oppression. The effect of practicing the Blood Sword Sutra in reverse far exceeded expectations, and it was comparable to the great perfection of body refining when it was at the small perfection stage. Now that he has practiced in reverse to the great perfection stage, Gu Cheng's physical strength is already comparable to the ordinary great perfection of body refining, and even surpasses it. Well, if I can continue to strengthen it mindlessly like this, it seems that there is no need to comprehend the skills of swordsmanship and light work. Just increase the physical strength to the maximum, and you can rush into any enemy in the future without thinking. Gu Cheng put on his shirt again, chuckled and shook his head. After the physical strength has been greatly improved, his current mood of just wanting to increase the strength is very similar to the novice expansion period after fitness. After the strength is improved, the speed cannot be lowered. Gu Cheng took out the 2 captured nebula flowers from the storage bag and placed them beside him. Smelling the elegant fragrance, he calmed down a little and began to pour his life into chasing wind step year by year. First year, with your current cultivation level, this ordinary body method is too superficial. Just a little practice, many feasible optimization plans emerge in your mind. 5th year, 3 fox demons. The core brought a lot of martial arts insights. Under the rich fragrance of the nebula flower, you had a lot of inspiration and several excellent ideas popped up in your mind. I don't know if the 3 fox demon cores are too powerful, or Gu Cheng himself has an extraordinary talent for light skills. In short, this martial arts deduction went very smoothly. Less than 50 years have passed, and a breakthrough has been made. 47th year, the ultimate martial arts meaning of the wind-chasing step, breath concealment, is similar to the fox demon clan's concealment method. You use this as a benchmark, break through the surface, and successfully transform this ordinary body method. Breaking the ordinary, flowing cloud riding the wind, introduction. Success. Breaking the ordinary body method. Gu Cheng clenched his fists excitedly and threw all his remaining life into it. Under the continuous impact of the 4-digit lifespan, the realm of this mortal breaking body technique climbed up step by step. Minor success, mastery, great success, perfection, until it reached the extreme. Chapter 257, Your flowing cloud riding the wind art broke through the limit and comprehended the ultimate meaning of martial arts. You summarized and named it, Fox Shadow Mystery. Breaking the ordinary, flowing cloud riding the wind art, ultimate meaning, Fox Shadow Mystery. Your figure is as erratic as a ghost, and like a fox demon, you can completely hide your own breath, isolate your divine perception, and create your own illusion, playing with the enemy in the palm of your hand. Remaining lifespan, 805 years. Gu Cheng slowly opened his eyes and let out a long breath of turbid air. As he exhaled this turbid air, it's the strong sense of oppression on the body, like a demon, also dissipated. At a glance, apart from his handsome appearance, Gu Cheng gave outsiders the impression of a rich young man who had never practiced martial arts. There was no threat at all, so they subconsciously relaxed their vigilance. Gu Cheng walked to the center of the room, and his figure suddenly became a little blurry. The next moment, in the spacious bedroom, 7 phantoms appeared out of thin air. These phantoms looked exactly like Gu Cheng, flying and moving in the bedroom, as elegant as clouds and as swift as wind. After playing for a while, all the phantoms returned to their positions together and merged with the original body. Gu Cheng's originally slightly blurred figure became solid and vivid again. It seems that this fox shadow phantom is not only a more powerful version of breath covering, it is also a perfect fusion of the fox demon's strange body movements and the magical power of creating illusions. Gu Cheng nodded with satisfaction. With this ultimate flowing cloud riding wind art, in the future, even if he encounters an enemy that he cannot defeat, he can escape calmly. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After testing the strength of this breaking the ordinary realm body technique, Gu Cheng calmed down and looked at his personal attribute panel. Host, Gu Cheng. Cultivation. Chi refining, Chi and blood 9th level, body refining, breaking the ordinary realm 7th level, spirit refining, breaking the ordinary realm 1st level. Remaining lifespan, 805 years. Learned martial arts. Rough bull fist, minor success, breaking the ordinary realm, blood shadow sword technique, ultimate intention, greedy. Wolf blood blade, breaking the ordinary realm, flowing cloud riding the wind technique, ultimate intention, fox shadow mystery. Chi and blood, wind and thunder sword technique, ultimate intention, lightning whirlwind chop, chi and blood, precious, blue dragon 100 refining, perfection, breaking the ordinary realm, blood sword sutra, great success, Qingshin treasure book, ultimate intention, charming face. Under normal circumstances, before becoming an innate master, a warrior's own cultivation is mainly based on chi refining, supplemented by body refining and spirit refining, like Gu Cheng, who has reached the broken ordinary realm in both body and spirit training, but is still at the chi and blood realm in chi and blood refining. He is simply a freak among freaks, perhaps in the eyes of others. Since Gu Cheng has not yet condensed his chi, he is at most a martial artist at the peak of the chi and blood realm. But in reality, with his cultivation of body and spirit training, +2 martial arts that have reached the ultimate in the broken ordinary realm, Gu Cheng's current real combat power is already rare in the broken ordinary realm. Even if he faces a master of the innate realm, he may not be able to compete with him. In a sense, Gu Cheng is also an extremely non-mainstream level suppressing boss. Just talking about this series of martial arts that are either the ultimate or perfect, it can make people drop their jaws. But speaking of it, it seems that there is a martial art on my panel that seems to be a bit out of place. Staring at the rough bull fist that is only at the small success level, Gu Cheng frowned slightly. He was a bit obsessive-compulsive, so he immediately poured his life into it. With Gu Cheng's current martial arts realm, this extremely simple boxing method was really not difficult at all. In less than a year, he easily cultivated it to the great perfection. Then he spent another 10 years of his life to Krypton this boxing method to the extreme state of mind in one breath. Rough bull fist, extreme intention, bull demon power, bull demon power, you have mastered a unique force-generating technique. When you punch out, it's like the bull demon descending to the world, and at the same time your own strength has increased slightly. Well, this passive is not bad, it can be regarded as icing on the cake. Gu Cheng felt the changes in his body, and his originally frowned brows suddenly relaxed. In this way, he has not yet reached the perfection of martial arts, and only the second volume of Blood Sword Sutra is left. There is no need to rush about this. After the last few herbs are delivered by Manager Song, Xiao Yun's sister will refine the boiling blood powder with the infusion of his 800-year lifespan. Everything will come naturally, things will be even simpler afterwards. First, kill the 2 demon kings on the Black Wind Mountain and make soup to settle the previous grudges. Then pull out the mysterious remnants of the Rebirth sect and grind them to dust. This novice village in Changle County is basically a complete clearance, right? The next day, early morning, Sun Yanxue was lying on the desk, continuing to copy the martial arts of the breaking the ordinary realm that she had not yet finished. Just looking at her erratic eyes and messy strokes, it was obvious that she was a little absent-minded. At this time, Gu Cheng knocked on her door gently. He walked in with a mahogany food box and began to feed the pet as usual. Miss Su glanced at the food box in the young man's hand, pursed her lips, and looked a little unnatural. Yesterday's Black history was too embarrassing. Even with her unreliable personality, she felt ashamed to speak up, so she had to pretend to be calm and pretend that nothing had happened. Sun Yanxue looked up and looked at her owner, and immediately noticed the changes in Gu Cheng. The original vague pressure disappeared. Instead, there was a temperament that made people feel like spring breeze, which was particularly pleasing to the eye. If she hadn't been fed by him every day and knew him well, I'm afraid she would subconsciously regard him as a gentle, harmless and handsome young man. Not only that, Miss Su also keenly noticed that Gu Cheng's eyes were also very different from before. In those deep eyes, a ray of divine light condensed and did not disperse. With a sense of returning to nature, obviously, the divine consciousness has been qualitatively improved. Your divine realm has broken through to the realm of breaking the ordinary. Sun Yanxue opened her mouth slightly and looked at the young man with astonishment. Yes. Gu Cheng put the lunch box on the table and nodded calmly. After all, he opened the illusion. The nearly 200-year-old silver handkerchief successfully defeated the inner desire. Even the Qingshin Baodian was pulled to the extreme realm, and it was natural for the cultivation of the soul to break through to the mortal realm. Sun Yanxue remained silent, and her fair and delicate face was full of complex expressions. Before, Gu Cheng condensed his divine thoughts in one night. She just thought that the other party was playing the pig to eat the tiger. He must have practiced other methods of soul refining before, and maybe he had practiced for many years. But even if Gu Cheng started to refine his soul from the womb, without the guidance of a famous teacher and without sufficient cultivation resources, he was able to break through to the mortal realm in his early 20s, such a unique talent for soul refining. Even if looking at the entire 12 counties of Yunzhou, he would definitely be ranked in the top 10, right? Sun Yanxue couldn't help but sigh faintly. This feeling of being ruthlessly crushed by others in what you are best at is really hard to accept. In a depressed mood, Sun Yanxue quickly opened the food box, grabbed a steamed bun and stuffed it into her mouth. With the comfort of delicious food, the girl's depressed mood was slightly relieved. She swallowed the food in her mouth and asked Gu Cheng. Gu Xiaoxia, since your spiritual cultivation has reached the level of breaking the ordinary, have you decided which school to follow? School. Gu Cheng's eyes moved slightly. Is there a more detailed division in the path of spiritual cultivation? Of course. Sun Yanxue nodded as a matter of course. The methods of spiritual cultivators are varied, but it is better to master one skill than to master 100 skills. If you don't find the right direction for spiritual cultivation, it is easy to be a hammer in the east and a stick in the west, wasting your time and talent in vain. Seeing Gu Cheng's confused look, Miss Su's mouth corners slightly raised, and the long-lost sense of superiority in her heart finally returned again. In a happy mood, she began to patiently popularize science for Gu Cheng. Gu Cheng sat quietly aside like a primary school student, listening to Teacher Su's earnest teachings. He quickly had a general understanding of the various schools of spiritual cultivation. Generally speaking, spiritual cultivators are mainly divided into 3 schools: controlling instruments, spells, and demon servants. The school of controlling instruments is the easiest to understand. It is to rely on divine thoughts to control magic tools and spells to fight against the enemy, which is an absolute prop flow. Because it is relatively easy to get started, most people choose this school, but those spells and magic tools may be more expensive. The school of spells is also not difficult to understand. It mainly uses divine thoughts to cast spells, so as to achieve the effect of calling the wind and rain and controlling thunder and lightning, similar to the magician in the game. The thunder method that the Su family of Yunzhou is famous for is a typical representative of spells. As for the demon servant school, it is a bit special. It needs to use its divine consciousness to refine the souls of dead demons into its own servants, which is roughly equivalent to the summoner in the game. Generally speaking, the strength of the spiritual cultivators who can control demon servants is generally better. Sun Yanxue took a sip of hot tea and said seriously. If his divine consciousness is strong enough, he can also control multiple demon servants at the same time, and he can easily fight several warriors of the same level alone, which can be said to be invincible at the same level. So powerful. Gu Cheng's eyes lit up. Compared with the straightforward and reckless fighting style of the physical cultivators, this kind of human-see tactics of summoning a bunch of younger brothers and fighting with more people against fewer people sounds more impressive. It's powerful, but the process of refining demon servants is too difficult. Sun Yanxue saw the young man's excited look and hurriedly poured a basin of cold water on him. If a cultivator who has broken through the ordinary realm wants to refine a usable demon servant, it will take at least 20 years. Those powerful demon servants that are famous in the world take hundreds of years to refine, and they are basically passed down from generation to generation by those big forces and big families. If you have no background and no power, you'd better not waste time on this. Waste time. I like this kind of time wasting. After listening to Miss Su's advice, Gu Cheng became more interested. According to his previous practice experience, this kind of method that takes a lot of time is often quite powerful. For him who has a Krypton Life System, it is simply a tailor-made magic skill. And why do you have to choose one of the 3 major schools of refining the spirit? Only children make choices, and of course the cheaters want them all. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But he was moved. Gu Cheng knew that he had to focus on the method of body training for the time being, so he wrote this down in his little notebook for the time being. Then, he said goodbye to Sun Yanxue. He changed into the official uniform of the Demon Suppression Division, walked out of the house, and went straight to the Demon Suppression Division to report. When Gu Cheng stepped through the Vermilion Gate, several colleagues in the front yard immediately noticed the visitor and their eyes lit up. He hurriedly stepped forward and greeted the young man with enthusiasm. Master Gu. General Gu. Master Gu. You came so early today. Gu Cheng looked up at the sun that was almost at noon and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He continued to walk along the bluestone path. Along the way, all the captains of the Demon Suppression Division who met Gu Cheng took the initiative to greet him respectfully. Gu Cheng personally experienced the treatment that Lin Qingyan received in the government office. As for why these colleagues had such a huge change, it was because of the corpse of the fox demon that Gu Cheng sent yesterday. The world is often so realistic. When you are weak, others will despise you and ignore you. When you become stronger, others will fear you and envy you. When you are so strong that people can only look up to you, others will worship you, please you, and regard you as their idol. Gu Cheng politely nodded to those colleagues who showed goodwill, and his pursuit of power became more determined. At this time, 2 small flags of the Demon Suppression Division hurried over, clasped their fists and saluted Gu Cheng. General Flag Gu, the 1,000 households invite you. Well, lead the way. Gu Cheng nodded slightly and followed, all the way to the study of the 1,000 households. Gu Cheng saw the white-haired captain again. Captain Zhao was still bent over the desk, practicing calligraphy with great concentration. When Gu Cheng walked into the room, he immediately put down his brush, greeted him with a smile, and said to the young man, "Xiao Cheng. Come on, you really did a great job yesterday. You killed that fox demon flower thief, which helped the government to gain a lot of face. Even the big dogs in the South City praised you." Captain Zhao patted Gu Cheng on the shoulder, looked up and down at the handsome young man, and became more and more satisfied. The Demon Suppression Division has always been clear about rewards and punishments. With your current strength and achievements, you are fully qualified to inherit your father's position of Centurion. As he said, he picked up a brand new waist badge from the table and handed it to Gu Cheng. "Thank you for your cultivation." Gu Cheng reached out to take the waist badge, bowed politely, and his heart was as calm as water. He had expected this result, and with Gu Cheng's current strength and vision, a centurion of a branch of the Demon Suppression Division could no longer arouse his interest. The only thing worth praising is the centurion's silver-white official uniform, which looks quite handsome. "Xiao Cheng, I called you here this time. In addition to promoting you, there are 2 important things." Captain Zhao returned to his chair and looked at Gu Cheng with a smile on his face. "The first thing is to ask you what plans you have for the future." "Plans?" Gu Cheng's eyes moved slightly. "I wonder what advice you have, Master Qianhu." "It's not really advice, it's just some experience and suggestions from me as a person who has been through it." Master Zhao smiled and waved his hand, raised his eyes and looked at Gu Cheng, with a serious face. "Xiao Cheng, with your talent, you have been staying in the countryside of Changle County. It's really a pearl covered in dust. I have an old friend who happens to hold an important position in the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division in Tianshui City. If you are interested in going to the headquarters for further studies, I can write a letter and let you go through the special process. In this way, you can avoid those tedious reviews and auditions and directly participate in the final assessment of the headquarters selection. I believe that with your strength, you will definitely pass the assessment smoothly." Hearing this, Gu Cheng was slightly startled, looking at Master Zhao with a look of surprise. Does this Master Qianhu have such a strong relationship? Can he send people directly to the final assessment of the Demon Suppression Division headquarters? There is no doubt that the status of Zhao Qianhu's old friend is absolutely extraordinary. A flash of inspiration suddenly flashed through Gu Cheng's mind. The middle-aged scholar who guarded the armory once said that 30 years ago, a martial arts genius appeared in Changle County. Because he cultivated Blue Dragon 100 refinements, he was specially recruited into the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division. Now, the place where this martial arts genius works happens to be in Tianshui City. Gu Cheng glanced at Zhao Qianhu's gray temples, estimated his age, and had a vague answer in his heart. So, the old friend that Zhao Qianhu mentioned should be the martial arts genius. Just finished, right? Thank you for your kindness, sir. I have the same intention. Gu Cheng clasped his hands together. He had always wanted to be promoted to the headquarters, so he would not refuse the other party's kindness. Well. Captain Zhao nodded with a smile. The assessment time of the headquarters is set at the end of the year, which is about 2 months away. While you have not left Changle County yet, I have to add more burdens to you. Before Captain Zhao finished speaking, the door of the study was pushed open. A tall and cold figure stepped in. As she approached, her slender high ponytail swayed gently, and her exquisite figure rose and fell gracefully, with a bit of the sassy style of a supermodel on the catwalk. Sir Zhao. Lin Qingyan stood beside Gu Cheng, bowed her hands, and her voice was soft. Well, Xiaoyan, you came at the right time. Captain Zhao smiled slightly and looked around the handsome man and beautiful woman. Both of them are talented young men, one is as cold and beautiful as snow, and the other is as handsome as jade. Standing side by side at this time, they have a sense of a perfect match. A strange color flashed in Zhao Qianhu's eyes, and then he cast his eyes on Gu Cheng. Xiao Cheng, the second thing I asked you to do today is to arrange a difficult task for you and Xiao Yan. Zhao Qianhu's expression suddenly became serious, and he said seriously. You two may not know that the deepest part of the Black Wind Mountain was once the base camp of a cult. Zhao Qianhu first briefly introduced the rebirth religion to the two of them, and the content was similar to Sun Yenshua's popular science before. Then, he suspected that the remnants of the rebirth religion were secretly doing something because of the recent abnormalities of the demons in the Black Wind Mountain and the sudden appearance of the fox demon. So, I need you two to go deep into the enemy camp and go to Black Wind Mountain to find out what's going on. Captain Zhao stared at the two of them and said in a deep voice. This mission is extremely dangerous, and it's not advisable to make too much noise. You can each select a few trusted people and go lightly. Gu Cheng nodded silently after hearing this. According to his original plan, he wanted to wait until the second volume of Blood Sword Sutra was reversed to perfection before going to Black Wind Mountain alone. Now he was arranged by Captain Zhao to team up with Lin Qingyan. Although it's not as easy as him going alone, it's not a big deal in general. After explaining the details of this investigation mission, Gu Cheng and Lin Qingyan both said goodbye and left. Captain Zhao looked at the direction where the two left, sighed quietly, and murmured to himself. If I remember correctly, these two had a childhood marriage before. I wonder if their relationship can be closer after this mission. The middle-aged man's face suddenly showed an ant-like smile. Then, he leaned over the table. He took out a brand new piece of rice paper and picked up the pen to practice calligraphy again. With each stroke, he wrote a big character.